This is Duncan Wood, if I remember right, anyway. And this bridleway runs down to the southern part of Clumber. I'm having a walk down here today because this is somewhere that I rarely visit. Dillis and I used to rarely visit, actually, to be honest. And I'm just coming down here to see what it's like habitat-wise and potential for purple emperor. And funny enough, there's a nice looking goat sallow in the little car park there. And there's one just on the left of where I'm stood, actually. The only problem being, this is another one of Sherwood Forest's more notorious areas. Lots of single men sat in cars, one of them kind of areas. You see the danger that I put myself in to bring you some content on this channel. So, I'm going to have a wheezy wander down there, see if we can turn anything up. Otherwise, if we can't, it's just a walk. This may well turn out to be one of those through the trees videos with hints of sunlight to delicately catching the various shades of autumn, which is still adorning some of the trees, to be honest. However, we've lost a lot of leaves in this last week. A decent frost a few nights ago has seen the end to most. The trees have given up holding on to the leaves. But some still remain. Some trees are stubbornly awkward and refuse to give up their leaves for love nor money. I know it's hated by everybody, the conservation lot and pretty much everyone, to be honest. But there's not a lot anyone can do about the presence of bracken, apart from chuck copious amounts of herbicide sprays on it each year. What a lot of good that must do the soil in accumulating years, I wonder. But bracken, when it's like this, when it's gone brown and it's backlit by the sun, looks absolutely beautiful. It's as good an autumn colour as on anything. And today, it looks a picture here amongst the pines. You see, I told you it might turn out to be one of those videos. But I do love sunlight coming through trees. Unfortunately, in this part of Duncan Wood, the majority of the trees are pines. These are commercial pines as well, which are under the auspices of Forestry England, as they're now known. It used to be the Forestry Commission at one time in the old days. But I love pines. I love the regimented nature of pines, how they tower above everything underneath. The only trouble is not a lot can grow underneath, and especially with Sherwood Forest and the surrounding Mansfield area being on Sherwood sandstone anyway, it's a very free draining soil and not a lot of plants can cope with it, and that's why the ground flora of Sherwood Forest is poor, extremely poor. But we get effects like this, sun coming through the trees, which I like quite a lot, to be honest. Well, I walked a good quarter of a mile. It's a very dark walk, especially this time of year, and it's just opened up just a fraction here. There's an area of clearfell to my left, but just looking at the golden colour of this European larch. Larch is a tree very much in trouble, especially here in the UK and in Europe. There have been tens of thousands of these trees taken down and burnt due to some tree disease that affects larch very badly, and it is in the UK. So larch is going to become almost a tree of the past in 15, 20 years perhaps. Lots are being removed. Nothing can be done about the disease apart from taking the trees out before the disease has taken hold, and it is, I believe, in Nottinghamshire. Shame, yet another tree that we're having to take down because of some disease that's been brought in. Tree after tree after tree. So while you can, go out and appreciate your local larch, because chances are they're going to take it out in the next few years. End of November, still some green leaves on a lot of oaks, to be honest, but especially the ones that are probably younger and more sheltered. They certainly cling on to their leaves, which is great to see as far as I'm concerned. Now we have leaves well into December on some trees. But just stood here having 5 minutes, enjoying the sunshine in this little bit. There's a sallow just here. It's a lot poorer for sallows than I was hoping, but this one may be worth a look for Purple Emperor larva. But it is a beautiful late November day. Clear in the second part of the night. I didn't lead to a frost, but tonight there will be a frost because it's going to be like this all day today. But it's not bad nowadays. We're lucky if we get a frost in Nottinghamshire before Christmas, to be honest. Just looking at this oak, still virtually completely green, and I think that's down to the protection that's been offered by these young silver birches which are growing up around it. One time it was pines, if I remember right, in this bit. There are still pines in the back there. Take them out, up comes the silver birch, and that birch has offered protection to that oak. I think that's why that oak is still green. There's a number of large oaks, but that's the greenest of all by far that I've seen. Doesn't that look beautiful? A lot of the oaks have lost that golden colour that they've had for the last couple of weeks and are now being affected by the frost, and the leaves are losing that golden colour and going brown. However, in the background, not of the shot that you're seeing, another green oak. That one tucked in there. And again, sheltered and indeed sandwiched between two oaks on the left. One may be dead though, looking through the trees, but two oaks on the right. Amazing how that protection makes such a difference to the colour of the leaves late in the season. And still going up, as in the case of a recent video. You see, you thought I was seeing things, didn't you? But yet another harlequin ladybird, which is leaving the damp leaf litter. Following yesterday's rain, it was a miserable day yesterday, and is now heading upwards in search of drier conditions and a crevice to tuck itself away in. Hardy little things, many ladybirds. And it's the harlequin that tends to remain active and does this late in the year more than the 7-spot ladybird does. those sorrowful or mourning whistling calls, a single note. That there's two bullfinches. It's a very depressed call, bullfinches. Yet the male is absolutely beautiful. It has the most, say, dreadfully miserable call. It's as if it can't be bothered to call. But this is the best spot on this walk so far. It's a nice group of mature oaks in various stages of decay, it has to be said. But they look beautiful in this low November sunlight. I'm presuming that this stonework at one time, before it was weathered, was maybe ivy leaves or something like that. I don't know, unless it's just some strange pattern or formation that's been done. I'm tempted to press the doorbell to see if anybody's in, but I don't think I'll bother today. When you walk down this path through Duncan Wood, you'll eventually come to a lodge and the associated gates. This is now Clumber, I believe. It seems very strange to come across these gates in the middle of nowhere almost. Well, I've got as far as I wanted to get to. I've had a steady walk to this point, and now it's a steady walk back into the beautiful early afternoon sunshine. Just look at that oak. It's going to be a terrible walk if I've got to look at scenes like that. Look at that. Peace and quiet, the kind of peace and quiet that only woodland can offer. As we get into the winter months, it generally gets a little bit quieter. There's less bird song, but lots of contact calls from the birds that are here. It's been a nice little walk. It's an easy walk. It's very level, and you can push a wheelchair along here, because I did that with Dillis early 2019, or during the summer of 2019, I think it was. All nice and very level. Some parts of this track, though, are quite dark, but it is nice in summer when there's a lot more leaves on these trees. And it's at this far end. It's the last third of where I've walked actually, which is probably the nicest. There are some fabulous trees here. There's some marvellous oaks, some very large oaks. And then all around is the remnants of pine plantations, lots of young birch where the pine plantations have been taken out, or parts of those plantations have been taken out. But it's past a couple of hours, but it will have by the time I've trudged all the way back to the car. But I've not found a deal. Not found anything really. Just seen that harlequin ladybird and a few more tucked away in the stoneworks of the gates. But it's been a nice little walk all the same, even if I haven't found anything. It's not always about finding something. A large part is the time spent out, away from the computer screen, away from the television, out and about in the fresh air, which is always time very well spent in my book.